Hello and welcome. In today's tutorial we'll be learning how to sew this beautiful shirt dress here with a placket and a beautiful design at the back, and also this shirt comes along with a beautiful color. So we'll be learning all that in this tutorial. Let's get started. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So these are the fabrics I'll be using for this dress. I have 2 yards of this beautiful print here. I'll be mixing it to sew this dress together. So let's get started. So we drew this pattern in our previous tutorial. If you haven't seen that video, the link to that video will be left in the description box below. This is a basic dress pattern and this is the bust that I am shading. This is my center front here, and then this is my side front, and then I have here the back pattern as well. That is my center back and this is my side back. I did not add any dots to this back, and also the front I only have the bust dart. I did not add any waist dart to this because I will not be needing it. So to get started, I have added 2.5 inches extension to the front here, 2.5 inches from my center front, and this is to cater for my buttonholes and then my button placket. So the next I'm going to do is to measure 1 inch from the shoulder tip this way. I'm going to be using this to add to my back pattern to form the extension, the overlap. I'm going to cut this out later, so I'll rule a line this way on my pattern piece. So the next I'm going to do is to input my bust span measurement of 4 inches. I'm working with 4 inches here. I'm going to input that on my waist, on my hip, and on my hemline. I'm just using this as a guide so that I'll be able to draw my slash lines later. So this is it here. The next I'll do is to rule a straight line across. So the next I'm going to do is to measure the neck of my front pattern. Take this measurement firmly because I'll be using it to draft my shirt color. So I have 4.5 inches here, so I'm going to take note of that. So the next I'm going to do is to close my bust dart, but before I can close that bust dart, I need to slash this line here, and before I'll do that, I'm going to cut out the excess on this pattern. So I'm cutting away the part of the pattern I will not be needing. Then I'll go ahead and then cut out the slash line here this way. I'm going to cut till I get to my bust point line. Then I would cut out my bust dart. I'll cut to the bust point but not through, so that I'll be able to close my bust dart. So we have a detailed tutorial on how to draft this pattern and also how to close the bust dart. If you haven't seen that tutorial, the link to that video will be left in the description box below. So I'm closing my bust dart now. After closing, I'm going to go ahead and then cut out the rest of this pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect a line from my bust point to touch my chest line. I'm going to further cut this so that I'll add the fullness on the chest line. So I'm slashing this line towards the side front this way. I'm going to cut to but not through the side front, the arm this way. So this is it here, and I'm labeling the cutout I'm going to be adding to the back so that I do not get confused. So I've just labeled this up, down, the neck area, and then the armhole area. So I'm going to cut out this back extension. So we are going to set this aside and then we'll work on the back pattern. So for the back pattern, I have a 1.5 extension from the center back that I have added. I'm just going to use this to make a beautiful design at the back. So after this, I'm going to input my bust span measurement of 4 inch on the chest line, the waist, the hip and then the hem of this dress, then I'll connect a straight line to touch the points this way. So the next I'm going to do is to measure my back neck also. So I have about 3.75 here. I'm going to take note of that to be able to draft my color later. So the next I'm going to do is to cut out this back pattern. I'm going to be cutting out the excess of the block this way. So remember, I'm going to be cutting this back pattern on fold. So this is it. This is the extension I'm adding to the back. Remember, we cut this from the front. I'm actually tipping it down to the back this way. And then the next I will do is to cut out the slash line this way up until my chest line like we did for the front, and then further slash it towards the side back. So the next I will do is to cut this out on fabric. So this is my front pattern here. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of this. To add this fullness, I'm just going to spread this 1 inch to achieve that fullness I want, but you can do more than that. So I have gone ahead to also add 1/2 inch seam allowances onto this block, except for the center front. I will not be adding any seam allowance to the center front. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut this pattern out. So we are done with the front pattern here. We'll go ahead and then cut out the back pattern. So this is the back. I'm cutting the back on fold. This is the fold line here, and I'm spreading this also by 1 inch to achieve my added fullness. Then I added 1/2 inch seam allowances all around this pattern, except for the center back because I'm cutting this on fold. So I'm going to go ahead and then cut out my fabric. So we are going to set this aside and then cut out our placket for the back. So I'll be using this same pattern to cut out the placket. So for the placket, I'm going to be cutting it on fold as well because I'll be placing it on the back, and I'm adding 1/2 inch seam allowances to this placket this way. You can design it anyhow you want. So for this one, I'm just going to make it a little shorter than the chest line measurement. So this is the design I'll be doing. So I'll go ahead and then cut this placket out. So this is my placket here, looking so beautiful. Later I'll be stitching it on to the back this way. So let's go to the sewing machine and let's get started with joining our pattern pieces together. So this is my back, looking so beautiful. This is the wrong side of the back pattern here. So I'm going to turn it towards the right side this way, and then measure out the 1.5 inch extension when we're drafting this pattern. So I'm going to measure it till I get to the hem of this dress, and then I'm going to head to my sewing machine and then stitch this extension down. Remember, it's 1.5 inches. So this is what we have after stitching it down and pressing it down. This is what I have here, and this is my placket. I placed the wrong side of the placket on the right side of my fabric. So this is it here, looking so beautiful. I just folded the edge of this placket down by about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to head to my sewing machine and then stitch it down. So after stitching it down, this is it here. I went ahead to join the shoulders of the front pattern to the back pattern this way. So I'm going to illustrate how I did this using the other side. So this is my fabric here. I'm going to be placing the right side of this fabric onto the right side of the back pattern this way. So I'm going to be having 3 pieces here, one for the front, one for the placket, and one for the back this way. So I'll take out the back pattern here and then turn it this way towards the front, turn it this way, and then pin it down. Then I'm going to head to my sewing machine and then stitch this down on 1/2 inch seam allowance. This way you have a very neat finishing for the shoulder. So after stitching it down, I'm just pulling it out this way so that you see the effect. So this is it here. After pulling it out, see, it's looking so neat and beautiful. So the next I'm going to do is to input my 2.5 inches we added when we're drafting this block for my front. This is going to take care of my button and my buttonholes. So I'm going to measure. The first thing I'll do is to measure 1/2 inch on the extension this way. Then I'm going to fold it and give it a good press. After pressing it down, I'll further fold it inside by 1 inch. So at the end of the day, if you measure this, you realize that it will be 1 inch exactly. Then I'll head to my sewing machine and then press it down. I'll do same for the other side of the fabric. So you see, as I'm measuring, I have 1 inch down. I'm going to head to my sewing machine and stitch it down till the hem of this dress this way. So this is my color. In order for this video not to be too lengthy, I separated the video. I'm going to be dropping the video on how to make this color from scratch. So this is my color here. I've given the back a notch and I've given my color a notch as well. So I'm matching the notch at the back to the notch on the color, and then I'm going to pin the color down onto the dress this way. And then after pinning all around, I'm going to head to my sewing machine and then stitch this down on 1/2 inch seam allowance. I will be dropping the video on how to make this color, draft and sew this color from scratch, and I'll be adding that video to the description box below, so please be on the lookout for that video. So I'm going to head to my sewing machine and stitch the color down on 1/2 inch. So after stitching it down, this is what we have here. I'm going to further fold this color 1/2 inch again onto the dress this way, like I'm doing. So you can pin it down so that it will be firm, and then I'll pin it until I get to the other side of this dress. Then I'll head to my sewing machine again and stitch this down on 1/2 inch seam allowance. So the color is very simple to make, very easy. So this is it. This is what we have. Our color has been fixed nicely, and I'm just adding a basic short sleeve to this dress. I already drafted this sleeve in a previous video. The link to that video will also be left in the description box below. So this is it. I have attached the sleeve to the pattern here. I'm going to head to my sewing machine and then stitch the other sleeve down on this fabric, and this is the final result of our dress, looking so pretty and gorgeous. I call this project a do-it-yourself project because it is very simple to do and also very basic for a beginner. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was clear enough. We want to hear from you in our comment section. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment on this video. We'll see you in our next video. Thank you so much for watching.